just got off of a call, and I really think that I had an epiphany. I had a realization. I was like, so many people in the community genuinely care so much about the perception of other people and like what they think of them. So I'll give you an example. So a lot of you guys have like friend groups or people that are like you guys are close to, or like, and I'm not talking about your teammates. I'm not talking about the people that you play with. I'm talking about the people like maybe another duo or a group of 8 or a group of 20 people like in a Discord. Like, you guys genuinely care so much about a few things. This is why you care about earnings. Complete stupid thing to like a milestone to go for. I honestly always believe this. I always thought like earnings was a stupid thing, because if you have earnings at the top of the mountain, if you have earnings of like the number one achievement that you could possibly get, then what ends up happening is like you're not gonna end up hitting it because it's like the best thing you could do. So your work is going to sort of expand to like 80% of it, right? In order to achieve the earnings, right? Like the practice or like the effort that you put in. And like what ends up happening is like, because it's such a big goal, like that should not be your goal. The goal should be very non-specific, or like earnings. Like what ends up happening for these people that have like the goal set up like that, it's like you get the earnings and then you don't hit earnings for like 6 months, and then you get a little bit of earnings then. It actually makes me so angry. I'm not gonna lie. Like not like directly, like when I'm coaching people and they tell me that, I don't get angry at them. I'm just like, why is this like a community thing? Why is it so important for people to care about earnings specifically? To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because like you guys are aiming for $100, $100. Like I know most of you guys care like not that much about like this game or whatever, but like you should be caring about going pro. I think that's like the biggest thing, and I think a lot of people don't have that mentality. They have like mentality of like, I'm gonna get $100 because all my friends are losers, all my friends are people that don't have earnings, and I want to get earnings so that I am better than them, so I'm like at the top of the social hierarchy. But like, instead of that, why don't we just ignore them, just screw them, compare yourself to the best of the best, and actually have a goal of becoming a tier 2 or a tier 1 pro? Even if you have 0 earnings, I don't care if you have this idea of like, oh, people are gonna look at me and be like, oh, you have such a crazy astronomical goal, like you're never gonna get a pro level. Don't tell anyone. You don't need to tell anyone. Just have the goal in your head, do the things required, right? Like I genuinely believe this as well. A lot of you guys know what is really important to do. Like, you know what's possible, you know what to do, you know how to get there, you know that practice is important, you know, like there's not a shortage of things that you could do. And if there is, then just put it in the comments. I'll literally respond to you with like a genuine routine that what you could do. I'll even pin it to the top, so like everyone who like wants a good routine, just go down to the comments and just look at it. Like, the process is not the hard part. That's not what you're trying to figure out. What you're trying to figure out is how you can actually get yourself to sit down and do the process for 3 months straight. That's the hard part. The hard part is not figuring out the process. Like, after you, like, and also another thing, I want you guys to have sort of unshakable belief in the routine or the process, because a lot of guys go for like 2 weeks doing the process, and then they end up realizing like, oh fuck, like it's not good because I haven't improved. But then you fail to realize that improvement is very much it goes up, down, it goes, but like, at the end of the day, when you average it out, it does go up if you practice. But the reality is there's good and bad days, there's ups and downs, right? And you can't look just like your weight fluctuates. Like, when you're on a diet, you can't compare day 1 to day 2. You can't compare day 1 to even day 6, because sometimes the overall trend is that you're going up, but because there's fluctuation because of water weight and other things like that, there's other factors. You can't just look at 2 data points and be like, and compare them and be like, oh, this is clearly the trajectory. Like, every time you create a trend, you don't just look at 2 data points. Like, if you did that in stocks, you would be finished. But if you look at multiple data points, if you look at like 7 data points, for example, across a 2-week span, then you would actually have a lot more confidence in the program or the process or whatever ideas or routines that I give you. Then you would actually believe in yourself and your ability to do it, because you can see that the trend goes upward. But the biggest reason that a lot of people quit is because they don't see that the trend goes upward. They see 2 data points, they realize that like, hey, it's like iffy, it doesn't actually mean anything, it like doesn't actually, like, there's no trajectory to go up, and then they quit, and then they stop. And then, you know what ends up happening is like, I need another routine. I need something else that's gonna help me. I need something else that's gonna get me to the pro level, or in their case, earnings. please get rid of this goal of earnings. Like, it's such a shit milestone, dude. Like, because earnings come so randomly. It should be a byproduct of you getting the best player that you can possibly get to. Like, that's the sort of thing that should happen. Is like, you should just care about getting to the best place possible in terms of your skill. The earnings will come as a byproduct. And usually earnings kind of, like, you'll see literally last season, Epic has just put out a random tournament, Solar Victory Cash Cup, which has enabled a lot of people to get their first earnings. So do you see how it kind of depends on Epic to actually put a system in place for you to get your earnings? So some seasons there will not be easy earnings. There will only be FNCS and maybe regular solo cash cups, and like you have to get to finals, which is top 100. That's like hard to do. And especially now with NA Central, if you're in NA East or NA West, like the old servers, it's gonna be even harder. Like, I know the price pool is improved and stuff, but it's still gonna be hard. And I think it's really important that you put yourself into perspective. Like, earnings is such a shit goal to go for. You need to go for much more, and also for something that's much more cemented. Like, if, like, think about it this way, right? If you genuinely, and I really think everyone should shoot for this, because like, even if you don't hit it, you'll not only get to a good point, like way higher than you wanted to, or it could have ever, you know, possibly believed that you could get to, but also it teaches you so much. I'm talking about personal experience. Like, I played this game for 3 years competitively, like not coaching, right? Competitively. I wasn't doing content creation or anything. Like, I was doing like Twitch streams or something, but it doesn't really count because I wasn't really putting effort. I was just streaming my scrims or whatever. But essentially, like, the things that I have learned, it's one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life. And I've done like other things that are like relatively challenging, right? And I think the lessons that I've learned from pursuing a very competitive environment is unparalleled. And I really think everyone could benefit from going through an experience like that. But the funny thing is you won't experience what I experienced if your goal is earnings. Like, you're gonna feel so satisfied when you finally hit that $100 earning mark, and then you're gonna be like, oh, I've made it. I'm so much better than all my fucking shit friends, right? I'm so much better than all of them, even though they're literally bottom 1%, right? Even though they're like not actually that good. You're comparing yourself to them, and then in the social hierarchy, you think you're the king. You think you're the best. Or maybe there's some other people in there that have earnings and you're like equal to them. You look up to them. Why are you looking up to them? You should be looking up to Tayson. You should be looking up to Vino. You should be looking up to Scented, to Cold, to Acorn. These guys, right? Like it's not shameful to have a goal that's astronomical, because then like what you end up doing is like, no one's expecting you to hit this in 6 months, bro. No one's expecting you to just get there right away. Like, I'm okay with you taking over a year to get there. Just have a goal that's like good. And I think all this like nonsense about like goal setting and like oh, like you should have a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 1 year goal. Like, it's all nonsense, dude. You don't need that, dude. It's input output. Like, if you actually put in the effort, you know what your site is put on, like, which is to be a pro player. Don't be shameful about it. Like, tell yourself that's what you're gonna go for. And even if that's not something that you're interested in the long term, just go for it anyway. There's no harm. Like, if you set your sights high, then you'll do the effort required of it. Like, that's what's really important. And I think like most important thing is like, screw all these like niche, like, oh, like 1 month, 3 month, like I think a lot of people are like, oh, like you should be healthy, you should go to the gym, you should like have a good sleep schedule. Like, it's important to a degree, right? Like, if you sleep 6.5 and you feel energized and you're good, like, let's focus on the game first. Like, I think that's like, a lot of people sort of forget that. It's like a lot of advice on Twitter, they tend to focus on like external stuff, and I do vouch for those things. I do think they're important, but they're only important after you've done everything you could possibly do with the game itself. Like, if you're 8 hours well rested and you have an insane diet and you go to the gym and you meditate and you do all this stuff and you do all your homework, so there's no external stress, but you never practiced the game to a degree, like you never understood the game, you're not good at the game, none of that's gonna help. It's all supplementary. And what's really important is like, you care about the game first and foremost, but never sacrifice your sleep, your gym, your diet, your things, your health for those things, right? Instead, sacrifice other things. Stop playing other fucking video games. Stop doing other things that are stopping you from getting to your goal. Like, it's good to have a social life, but like, you have to pick and choose what you want to sacrifice. And what most people end up doing is they have a social life, they play other video games, then they sacrifice their sleep. Right? And trust me, believe me when I say this, you can and you absolutely will, if you put your goals right. You can absolutely get to a point where you're playing Fortnite only for 6 months straight and you're still very, very happy. It's a matter of perspective, a matter of what you're willing to give up. You're getting all your homework done. This is good. Everything's on par. You're cutting all the dumb shit. You're cutting all the other video games. You're cutting out like sort of unnecessary social like settings that you don't need to get into. Like surround yourself with good hardworking people, and that's it. And if you need that, then join the Discord, where literally everyone that joins my Discord is a viewer of this channel. And usually a viewer of this channel, an average viewer of the Zycoma YouTube channel, is better than your friend group. 100% I can say that with certainty. At least for most of you guys without earnings, I think that's true. Maybe some of you guys here that are in Elite Cup, sure. Maybe your friend group's a little bit better, but that's an exception, right? That doesn't sort of disprove the rule. What's really important, guys, is that you set your goals high, don't be ashamed of it, and then go full steam ahead and stop being distracted by all these external stuff. All you have to do is not sacrifice them for the cause, which is, you know, get better at the game. And that's it. Like after that, there's nothing. After that, like when I do coaching, like I set that into stone, and then after that it's all about talking about the game, getting you better at the game. Because like when you're in the tournament, nothing ends up mattering. It's like obviously your energy levels and stuff like that, but like it's just the game, guys. You need to know what to do. Like that's the most important thing, guys. And like if you guys have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below, and like please get rid of the earnings goal. It's such a shit goal. Like it's such a bad goal to have. I hate it. Every time I see like how can I get my first earnings, I actually am like, I want to help, but like I can't answer every single person that says how can I get earnings. Like that's why I want to make a video about it and just tell you like the mindset going into the next season. Like what should it be? It's this, guys. Like if you should honestly look at yourself and make sure that you have your mindset correct. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. The content for next season is coming out. I've been super busy with coaching and stuff, and that's where I've sort of been. I'm gonna be much better about making sure that I'm posting videos, because what ends up happening is obviously coaching comes through. I do like 8 hours of coaching in a day or something, and I'm dead tired, and then like recording is hard. But then what I realized is like this free content and everything, and like making YouTube videos, making TikToks, and posting on tweets, like it's a backbone of everything, and I need to make sure that I'm doing that. So I'm gonna prioritize that way more, guys. Join my Discord if you want a community, and that's about it, guys. Take care.